Hey guys, Jay Sini here and welcome to another episode on the Australian Wealth channel. And today we're going to be looking at 3 stocks that I'm buying this month. So I'm sure some of you guys have seen the very famous segment from the Financial Education channel, 3 stocks I'm buying. You know, that's something that Jeremy's done. And Jeremy's got a great YouTube channel, definitely worth subscribing to him. But I thought it'd be really interesting to go and have a look at some other stocks that I'm actually looking at buying right now. So the first stock I'm buying is the stock where you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Helps to get these videos out to more people so that they can hear about some more stocks. So personally, I'm not someone that's into really small spec stocks. I think it's really important once you've made a fair bit of money to make sure that you are making sure that wealth is preserved, basically, instead of just going and funneling it into really small stocks that might do well or they might completely collapse. So the 3 stocks that I'm going to talk about in this particular episode are, of course, quite large companies. They all have multi-billion-dollar valuations. And I think at that level, there is some level of assuredness that the company is going to continue and survive. So the first stock that I'm buying right now is Wynn Resorts. Now, I think this is a fantastic company, and of course, due to events that have been happening this year, this company has been hit really hard, and that is totally understandable because Wynn Resorts is in the leisure sector, and a lot of people go to Las Vegas, Macau, to Boston to travel and gamble. So with the current pandemic that is going on, it's making it really hard for people to actually travel and go to these places. So the airline industry's been hit really hard, and of course the leisure and the gaming industries have been hit very hard as well. So as a result, the stock price has dropped dramatically. Wynn stock generally trades between $100 and $200 a share in normal times. At the moment, it's sitting around $70 to $72 a share. So I believe we're kind of at the end of the illness. You know, we are seeing cases flare up, but I think the lockdowns are pretty much done, and it's all up from here in terms of more people traveling and getting around. So I think in the short term, anything could happen, but in the long term, I think the outlook for Wynn Resorts is actually quite good because they own some of the best properties in Las Vegas. They own some of the best properties in Macau. They are the first thing that people think of when they think of 5-star Las Vegas resorts. And what we're seeing currently is a mass exodus from California. There's a lot of wealthy people that are actually leaving California and coming to live in Nevada. Now, these kind of people have a lot of disposable income because the tax rates in California are really high. In Nevada, there is no state income tax. So they're saving about 13% in the top bracket, which if you're making like millions of dollars a year, that's at least $100,000 that you are saving in taxes alone. Now, with all this extra disposable income, you know, for some people that is going to go somewhere. And that somewhere, I believe, will be casinos. People love to go out and gamble and have a great time, and Wynn Resorts has some of the best casinos in Las Vegas. So I think there's a bit of a growth vector there, and as travel starts to come back, I think that Wynn Resorts is going to continue to do much better in the future. So I think it's rightfully been hit, and I think in the future it's going to increase in value over time. Now, the second stock that I want to talk about is another recovery play that's been hit really hard. And now that stock is Carnival. Now, Carnival, before the pandemic, was trading at roughly $50 to $60 a share, which was a decent valuation. You know, there's a lot of room for growth there in the future. But then, of course, this year came around and everything changed quite drastically. Everything was shut down, and everyone knows how much impact that had on cruising, gaming, all those kind of things. Carnival is currently trading around $14 a share. It was down at a low of 7, and now it's bounced back to about 14. And I think if you're someone that believes that over the next few years things are going to get progressively back more to normal, then this is a company that will return to profitability. And I think there's a lot of upside potential in this stock. I'm going to do a little bit more detailed video at some stage about Carnival and how I believe personally that they are going to do a lot better in the future once all of these restrictions are a bit more lifted and we have a vaccine. I think once that happens, then people are going to be a lot happier Korea to travel, and Carnival is going to absolutely rock it. So, of course, there's a lot of uncertainty now as to how long this illness is going to be around, and I think that's a very valid concern, because if it keeps going and going and going, of course, it is going to force Carnival into receivership. But Carnival, of course, has a lot of assets that they can sell off to keep the business afloat, no pun intended. But I personally believe, because they're such a large company and they have a lot of money around, that in the future they will be okay. They will make it through this. You know, there might be a slightly leaner business on the other side, but I think there's a lot of upside potential there as a recovery stock over the next few years. Now, of course, we don't know what's going to happen within the next 3 months, next 6 months. We have no idea. The stock might go down again, but I believe that by that time, we'll be coming very close to the end of the illness, and things will be much better. Okay, now the very last stock that I want to talk about this month that I believe is going to do great in the future that I'm buying this month is Dropbox stock. So Dropbox is a fantastic company. They currently have a valuation of around $8.4 billion, and they have 600 million registered users. Now, I recently did a video on Dropbox stock, which you can go and watch, talking about like all the metrics and everything to do with Dropbox. But I think one of the most important things when it comes to this particular stock is, even during this pandemic, they're growing at about 17% every year on the revenue side, which is fantastic during this period. And that's, of course, because a lot of things have had to go to the cloud during this period. Everything's moving to the online space. So there's a forward PE of 22. Now, that is a very attractive valuation for a company that is growing at that particular rate of 17% a year. So I think it's personally, out of all of the stocks that I've mentioned in this video, Dropbox is the best buy for me. Something else which I mentioned in the other video also is that Dropbox is heavily shorted. Now, we saw this in another situation with Tesla stock. It was also heavily shorted, and then they hit massive profitability. And then as a result, all of those shorts had to liquidate, which drove the price up even higher than it would have if it was just buyers and not short sellers. And the same thing is happening with Dropbox stock. It's heavily shorted. So I think there's a lot of potential there for upside as short sellers have to liquidate their positions if the stock starts to go up. So this one might take a little bit of time to play out. We don't know if Dropbox is going to sit around that $19, $20 share for how long. You know, it could be a month, it could be tomorrow, who knows? It could be 6 months, no one knows. But I think eventually Wall Street is going to wake up to what this company is actually doing and how powerful they are, and how they've completely owned Google Drive and OneDrive in the cloud space. The company also has multiple growth vectors. They bought HelloSign, so they're getting involved in the e-signature game. So I think it's a very exciting company to keep watch of, and I will definitely be buying it. So I hope you guys found this really interesting of the stocks I'm buying. I'd love to hear about 3 stocks that you are buying this month. Please leave them in the comments. Be really keen to hear about some more companies and some of the great things that are going on in the world. So thank you so much, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Helps to get these videos out to more people. You can follow me on Instagram or Facebook. Just look up my name, Jay Sini, and you will find me. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you later.